Let me show you who I am and what I'm here for. Here for. Hey! Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple curiosity, trying to take a bite of me. Let me show you just what I'm made of now. Trying to reach inside of me, trying to gain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dramatis Lectio, the show in which we quell our expectations, we lower our intelligence, and we approach the material we read with snark and a sense of superiority. Hello, everybody.
Yo.
Oh, yeah, we are allowed to talk again.
Oh, right. Okay, I thought that we were not talking until we were introduced.
That's never been the case. That's never been a written rule. Okay, but sure. Fantastic.
The rules have changed.
Apparently, I didn't know. So, I am your host, Madhog Master. You know me, you love me, or maybe you don't know me, and you most certainly don't love me. In that case, it's all over, we're through. And I am joined tonight by Devar Arkvaron.
Yo, how you doing, everybody? Trying to be like the cool kids in this, since we're in the 2000s and such.
Are we?
Well, 2008 by this chapter we're about to read.
Oh, yes. Because I remind you, I wrote my entire Tales epic in a month.
Yeah.
That happened. So, we're also joined by Matti Mali, aka Hedonistic Actor.
Yeah, well, hi.
I shall come into your box and reach in and see what game we can play.
And also we have the other Finnish guy.
Icy pal!
You know, it is rather interesting how many Finnish people you know on web, Madhog.
Yes, more than one. That's astounding. I would have never guessed that I would know more than one Finnish guy on the internet, but here we are. That's life, I suppose.
Whoa, like deep, man.
It's not meant to be deep. Speaking of which, here we are, the final stretch, everybody. We are at the final stretch of this literary leprosy.
Oh boy!
That we started reading. Well, at least some of us started reading it all the way back to 2016.
Oh boy!
Yes, it's been an incalculable amount of time, which is to say 2 years. It's been too long. But we're finally here. We're finally at the last part. The last hurdle. The last task, if you will. Before
The last boss.
The last boss will not be as hard as the previous entry in this quote-unquote franchise. That one was the optional Sephiroth boss in Kingdom Hearts. That was hard.
I I would have said Nameless King from Dark Souls 3, but meh.
I mean, they're all hard.
Oh yeah, oh yes.
Oh no.
So, yes, nothing will ever be as terrible and misguided and ill-begotten as the Knuckles one-shot, which we tackled last time we were here.
Yeah, ish.
Unfortunately, it will constantly be referenced in this story too, because there are consequences to that. Imagine
boy.
that.
You mean the characters realize that you can't repopulate the species with just 2 people?
No. I said consequences, not sensible consequences.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Is that going to be your default reaction to everything we do tonight?
Maybe.
I have the
Possibly.
barf pack ready.
All right.
Oh boy.
So last time what happened? I remember there was incest porn, but that's it.
Well,
That's
Okay.
the part you remember.
so there was incest, but there was not explicit porn. Otherwise, I would not have read it. But yes, I say
Incest
this.
erotica.
It wasn't even erotica, damn it! There is nothing more to describe. Come on. Just give me some credit there.
Right.
However little I may receive. Okay, so the whole point of this exercise in self-deconstruction, if you will, is to provide a cautionary tale to potential new writers as to how not to write specific characters and how not to tackle specific subjects. The simpler, more straightforward way to approach this is to say that everything that's written here, you do the opposite of that. That's,
Everything's
right.
not awesome.
Don't write at all. Gotcha.
I'm not saying you shouldn't write at all, but I am saying that you should
okay.
have...
What
This is
Madhog is trying to say that if you write don't post it on the internet.
I am not even saying that. I am saying that we should all learn from our mistakes. And if I can help somebody not to make the same mistakes I did when I was their age, then that's all the better.
Yeah, but that's sensible advice and doesn't sound so funny.
Well,
Here
this
we are.
part is not meant to be funny. Not all of this
Here we
is
are.
meant to be a
It's
whole
just
big
valid.
joke. Come on.
Without the bad, we wouldn't know what good is.
Just as Alexander J. Wolf would say at the end of Raggedy Ann and Andy, the Christmas special.
Oh boy, we are going there.
Oh, you take the good, you take the bad, and then you got the facts of life.
This is what Sonic haters think all Sonic fans are like.
I would not generalize the entire fandom. I think the fandom has reasonably mellowed out in the last few years, which is to be expected.
As in, the problematic people left for greener pastures and became awful in other fandoms.
The problematic people left, period. Anyway.
Let's continue. Let's read.
Let's start.
Okay, who keeps coughing tonight? Should I be worried about your elf?
It's alright. I'd had the flu recently and there's still the aftermath of it. It's
Oh,
the
dear.
dry coughing part of it.
I've been there, I can relate.
Yeah, me
It
too.
lasted about a month for me.
Wait, seriously?
Yes. Devar,
Yes.
you are tasked with the usual task that you are given, which is to
Okey-dokey.
say, read us the summary.
Okay. The story, Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic, by Madhog thy Master. You could feel the creative juices flowing off this title.
Ugh.
The summary as as follows. The time has finally come for the free vessels of intelligence, strength, and speed to fight for everything they believe and stand for. Together, they can do it. Hopefully. Last episode of Tails Saga.
Yes.
Rated T for teen.
Yeah. I'm wondering how that rating got passed.
It has 10 chapters and has 45,000 words.
Plus
Yikes.
2.
So it's still slightly less than the first part.
It was published on December 14th of 2008 and was last updated on December 23rd of 2008. So that should speak volumes about how productive he was on this.
Yes, productive.
That's why I put it in quotation marks.
Yes, quotation marks.
All
Okay.
the not safe for work things have been removed from fanfiction.net, and this one was spared.
Okay, like I said, there is a very specific definition of what passes for not safe for work on fanfiction.net, which is to say explicit pornography.
Yeah.
So you can still get away with a lot if you don't do explicit pornography.
Yeah, and I have seen people get away with a lot.
I'm sure you have, and so have I. But regardless, there is none of that here, okay? That was last time. Now
This
is the
time-
time.
This time is dumb.
This
Without
time
the-
is just dumb in the way this story has always been dumb.
Just good old senseless violence.
Anyway, so we cannot start the chapter yet because unfortunately there appear to be a couple of quotes before
Yes.
the story starts.
Yes, the quotation marks are guarding the first chapter. They will not let us pass unless we read them.
And oh boy, am I ashamed and embarrassed by this. Well, you know, it's very appropriate that we are reading this quote on February, which, you know, it's the month in which the United States celebrate Black History Month.
Okay.
Because the very first quote is a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Wasn't that in March? Maybe I
No,
remember
Black
wrong.
History Month is in February, and
Oh,
Martin Luther King Day happened a couple of weeks ago. We shall overcome! Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which is followed by Yes, we can, Barack Obama, which is also followed by Can we? By me, Madhog.
Can we? That is such an inspirational quote.
This is the very definition of pretentious, isn't it?
Yes, maybe a little bit.
First of
Can
all,
we
I
what?
wasn't just happy with associating Martin Luther King, freaking Martin Luther King, with a Sonic fanfiction. Oh, no. I also had to bring in Barack Obama, which coincidentally also happened to be African American. I wonder if I did that on purpose. And then I associate them both with me. Because
Yes.
apparently I am just as important as they are. I've done so much to deserve the comparison, clearly.
Well, Sonic's first voice actor is African American, so I guess that's the connection.
Oh no.
You are putting too much thought into this.
This is one of the most idiotic things I could have ever done at the time, and that is saying a lot.
Do this quote even have anything to do with the story?
They are meant
No.
to introduce the theme of the story, which is literally about fighting back the oppression.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to go on a little tangent here because I've always hated films or anything really that started off with an epitaph, with a famous quote from some famous person in literature or history, and everything in between. It is always a sign of insecurity, of lack of self-assuredness from the film who uses them, to make sure that the audience get what the theme is, because the audience cannot be trusted to figure it out on their own. So I dislike that. I've come to dislike that. But of course, as a much younger mind, and a much more pretentious one at that, I thought this was great. People will think I'm smart if I use quotes other smart people said.
Yes, because it shows that you're learned and cultured.
Ugh.
Okay, should we actually begin this actual tirade?
Yes.
So who shall begin chapter 1, truly?
I
Who
guess
shall be the narrator?
I guess I will start. And this first part is in bold and italic, implying that it is a dream or a memory or something along those lines. Right then.
Yeah, seems like a dream to me.
I had a dream! It was a dream of an absolution.
Once upon a dream.
Oh my
Damn it, man!
gosh.
Get a hold of yourself. We have only started, and you are not going crazy on my watch yet.
And a dream of an absolution. Na, 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 na. Okay. He still could remember it quite well. The dark forest. The roboticized cobalt blue hedgehog who just fled from him. And that creature. And also all the ellipses. Which are back in full force, baby.
Yes, they brought an army of ellipses.
It came out of nowhere through chaos control. It stared at him with those empty, black eyes. He resembled Cosmo in every way. He was clearly male. I'm sorry, are you assuming his gender?
Oh, no.
Or are you implying that he's walking around without pants?
Both?
Oh yes, because
Maybe.
as we all know, gender is determined by biology. Boo! Void. He said his name was Void, and that he was the son of Cosmo, of all things. And I have 2 exclamation points here, which I hate to see, honestly. I always say either use 1 or use 3, never 2. It's just not aesthetically pleasing. And then he just attacked the astonished two-tailed kitsune for no apparent reason. Despite the surprise, Tails still had the presence of mind and natural instincts to react. So, Scandinavian Tails.
Martina Woods.
Okay. Why are you attacking me?
Ah! Snakes! Attacking me!
I like how Marty just said it like a PS1 voice acting voice line. I love it.
Ah, yes. Asked the kid while avoiding several punches and kicks from his unjustified assaulter. The creature stopped for a second. He seemed to be uncomfortable as well by this situation. He really didn't want to do it, as clearly established by him clearly doing it. He didn't want to hurt the most important person in his mother's young life. I remind you that the genealogical situation with the Tails family has become a bit complicated over the past couple of stories. He had her memories of him planted, excuse the pun, in his mind. Excuse the pun. It is literally written here in between parentheses.
Yes. Unfortunately.
I just sat here shaking my head.
In its honor, I shall double facepalm.
Every ounce of his body was protesting and hesitating. But, as Void understood, he didn't really have a choice either. In order to fulfill the first part of the ancient prophecy trademark, he had to make an example out of the fox. No matter how wrong it felt, there wasn't any room for personal feelings in his mission. "I'm sorry," he started to mutter, "but it is necessary. Forgive me, Tails."
How do you know my name?
Asked the panicked fox.
Just who are you?
He didn't respond this time. He simply raised his hands high above his head. His body started to glow. Matti started to cough, and his eyes, from black and soulless, became bright white. Then he put his strange clawed hands on the ground. A short earthquake shook the land under Tails' feet. And for the first time since Cosmos' sacrifice, the kid could see the true powers of a Sidrian trademark in action on his own skin and bones. Humongous plant-like branches came out from the ground like rotten zombies in a horror B-movie.
That
Okay.
was a bit weird.
Okay. Again, one of the many anachronistic, out-of-place references and analogies that I like to employ here. Tails was taken by surprise. He didn't stand a chance. He's been bitten, buttered, and severely wounded, but not killed. That wasn't the plan! The kitsune's death would have meant failure! Don't ask me what the plan is, I don't remember.
My plan is great.
Calmly, the void-eyed one approached his apparently younger victim, who was now on the ground, in a small pool of his own blood.
Did he cry that pool of blood?
Oh no.
"Don't worry, you will survive this night. It is written. This has been a friendly advice." This has
been friendly advice that led him lying on the pool of his own blood, apparently beaten, battered, and severely wounded.
Yes.
I'd hate to see him give some not quite so friendly advice. What's that be? Genocide?
Well, listen, it's a friendly advice in a battle shonen sort of fashion.
Oh gosh.
In which the bad guy appears, beats up the good guys, doesn't finish them off, and just wait for them to get stronger.
That makes total sense.
Stay away from the Chaos Emeralds, or else next time I won't be so gentle. Hehehehe, sex assault metaphor.
Ew.
You've read worse by this point.
Yes, I know, but still, I have my standards.
Your standards have left the building.
Hold on to that thought, Devar. Let's see if you still have them by the time we are finished.
The kid had heard him. The Chaos Emeralds? Was he looking for them? What the heck was going on? That's the question, isn't it?
Yes.
He needed answers. But first of all, he needed to be cured. From the point he was in, his adopted mother's hut was the closest place.
Closer place?
Yeah.
Compared to what?
He slowly raised his mold little body from the heartless ground and started walking towards the hut's direction. I thought his bones were broken, but okay. Traces of
I like how you said heartless ground, so that in time for Kingdom Hearts 3. Hey there, heartless ground! I'm gonna kill you with this keyblade.
Nobody dies in Kingdom Hearts. See what I did there? Okay. Traces of fresh blood were left on his every step. That definitely wasn't his day.
And definitely returns.
Definitely is a wrestler. He makes a comeback and beats up the bad guys.
Okay, change of paragraph, change of mind. Okay, everybody, roll the dice.
I don't have my dice on me.
Neither
Okay.
do I.
All right. No, wait, don't actually get the dice. I was joking.
Oh boy, you asked for it, apparently.
Okay, Devar, it's your turn. I decided.
Okay, I'll go then. Tails woke up from his nap, still shaking. He took a moment to clear his head from the dumbness of sleep.
It should have been numbness, I assume.
But yeah, dumbness. I think this is you telling yourself, this is dumb. You should stop writing. Okay, then he looked his surroundings. He immediately recognized the beautiful flowery field, the ruins, and the unique plants he knew as Kitsune's mates.
Oh yes, it's that really stupid name for the flower, the MacGuffin flower, I suppose. Wait, how many MacGuffins I have in this story, come to think of it? Let's see, there are the Chaos Emeralds, there's the flower, there's the Master Emerald at some point. Okay, too many MacGuffins.
The ancient ruin zone, his and Cosmos' secret place, was wonderful as ever, so pure and perfect, so peaceful and comforting, so sad.
Too bad, so sad.
In a way, the small secluded piece of paradise, hidden by the fixed secular trees,
They are secular trees as opposed to religious trees.
could have
Ratti.
could have almost been seen as a metaphoric vision of Cosmos' own soul.
Well, they're not anymore, are they? You just literally explained the metaphor.
With an extremely flowery language.
There they were, the young flowers, symbols of her happiness and childish joy.
Okay, before continuing, I suppose I chose to ignore your pun. Just so you know.
The rare plants she was born from. They were her determination and will to survive. This Undertale reference that will not be made until many years later. Her strongest emotions, like love.
Trademark.
The old ruins, which were anticlimactic, with the whole natural ambient.
What word were you trying to say in that?
Anticlimactic? With the whole natural ambient?
Represented her dark.
Okay, yes,
thoughts.
you know what? Ignore that. I don't want to.
Represented by her darkest thoughts, her fears and insecurities, but also her memories, her worst memories. And then there was him, set on the grassy ground.
As in S-E-T, as opposed to S-A-T.
Shoulders on a tree, tails the love of her life, the main object of her thoughts.
I got it now. In here, I think anticlimactic is used as a synonym for something peaceful and calm. Because climax is something where something big happens, and then anticlimactic is something where something not big happens, or nothing at all happens.
Okay, thanks for that, Marty.
Thank you for your attempt at deciphering this. It is appreciated.
He sighed. That was very romantic to imagine. He coughed. But completely pointless, nonetheless.
Aha. So,
Like this story.
Matti, do you have the power to mute your microphone?
Okay, let me see.
You can mute the chat easily by the microphone, next to the headphones on the bottom left.
I just moved my head somewhere else.
Okay. Anyway, it's a dialogue line for Tails next.
It's really beautiful here, don't you think? It sounds like a metaphoric representation of her mind.
The character is just reiterating what the narrator has already established. Isn't that phenomenal?
I like this. The character basically is outright laying it on thick, basically what the audience should take away from it.
After it was already established by the narrator, which is genius.
I think this is the story's way of telling us that even the characters are sick of the narrator and don't give a shit about him.
Tails seemed unfazed by that remark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I didn't see you there.
Although it was exactly what he was thinking about this place, he slowly and calmly turned his head to fix his gaze on his not-so-unexpected guest.
By someone else.
Yes, what? Did you think he was talking to himself?
Green bushy hair, black-coated vest.
Cloaked vest.
Yes, cloak, that's what I said, I thought. Weird three-fingered hands. And of course, his namesake eyes.
Hi, Void.
We'll be right back, folks. Na 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 na.
The young Vulpine greeted.
Or should I call you son?
He added chuckling. Void put on a bewildered look.
Tails, I'm actually older than you. Which, come to think of it, makes no sense. Anyway, that sounded weird.
He replied. The younger one apparently laughed this time.
Openly.
Yeah, openly laughed.
True.
A few seconds of silence followed. During this lapse of time...
that was a good one.
Well played. Well played.
During this lapse of time, the two of them intently observed each other, like it was the first time they ever met. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to pay a fee to, observe each other. In a way, it was.
I thought they had a 3-month trial before paying the subscription.
No, that's how they get you. Void was trying to understand why his mother seemed to love this kid so much. Why did she find him so lovable?
I don't know. Ask his many fans. As long as you don't ask the creepier fans.
Yeah. Tails' attention, on the other hand, was focused on a more material detail. Void's shoes.
Yes, clearly that is the most important thing right now.
Okay, what is the most inconsequential heterosexual thing that two guys could ever do? Compliment each other's shoes, obviously.
Wow, I love your Nikes!
They're not Nikes. I burned my Nikes because they supported people I didn't agree with.
Okay,
They
let's
are,
carry on.
they are, of course, very comfortable and warm kuomas for the winter season.
He hadn't noticed it the first time, but the plant-like boy was wearing the very same kind of shoes he used to have. A pair of red and white sneakers. The fox smirked within himself, which is a weird way to say it, okay? They definitely had similarities.
Right. So, you knew I would come here?
Suddenly asked the Cedrian, interrupting the awkward staring session. Tails nodded.
You were born here after all, right where I planted that seed. Over there.
Yep, I impregnated the ground.
Oh no. Well, I can safely say this is not the weirdest thing that a Sonic character stuck their finger in.
Oh, I know, unfortunately.
Well, they don't say that bees impregnate the flowers.
Oh no.
Well, Charmy Bee is dead, so you could not do that to any flower.
He said while pointing to the direction of the now free kitsune mate plants. Void crossed his arms. It didn't really surprise him that his unofficial daddy,
Oh, God!
because it's in quotation marks, should I say it like his unofficial daddy had been able to,
Daddy!
That makes it worse. That makes
Yes.
it so bad.
has been able to figure out where he came from. The memories the Cedrian had used to depict the fox as a genius.
Yes, about that.
Tails was still set with his back on the tree log. He put his
Trees log.
That's why I said trees log.
Does that mean that a tree has a diary? It writes?
Oh yeah, right. It's like a possession sort of thing. Well, someone possesses. Okay. He put his arms behind his head in the classical, relaxed manner.
Wait a minute! Removes the Tails mask. Aha! It was Sonic all along!
Dun dun dun!
But wait, it was actually, removes mask, James from Pokemon!
But wait, it was actually Old Man Jenkins!
But wait, it was actually Scooby-Doo!
But
But
wait,
it was
it was
actually
actually the
a
internet!
ghost!
Madhog is still going to edit this bit out, so...
Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Okay.
You never know. I think I've understood the real reason of why you attacked me a little more than a week ago. You wanted me to start looking for the emeralds, not the opposite.
Yeah, that totally makes sense!
What happened to the good old-fashioned actually talking to people?
Oh, don't be silly. Who talks these days? No, we just shout at each other. And people agree. Anyway, he said, displaying a hint of self-confidence in his tone. Void was still unfazed.
Convincing someone to do something by telling him to do the exact opposite thing of you.
Okay,
wanted him to do.
Matti, stop. I can barely understand you when you read. You either need to improve your voice volume, or...
Convincing someone to do
Jesus
something
Christ.
by telling him to do the exact opposite thing of you wanted him to do. Reverse psychology is an old trick. You just added a violent beating in it.
Tails continued.
By the way, how's Blaze doing? Did she voluntarily join you, or you just brainwashed her?
At this point, Void chuckled in amusement.
Congratulations! Dun 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 dun. Congratulations! You are truly clever, I must admit. To answer your question, Blaze voluntarily chose to follow me.
He said, with a proud, broad smile on his light grey skin.
Oh, a broad smile. Blaze voluntarily chose to follow me.
I see. That means that we'll probably have to fight her too.
Sadness and discomfort was visible in the boy's azure eyes.
Her and Shadow.
Void ultimately added.
Oh, you see what I did there? Did you see?
Yes, that's very cute, actually. For the first time since the beginning of their conversation/challenge, Tails found himself taken aback.
Ellipses.
Shadow the Hedgehog is on your side?
He yelled while abruptly standing up from the soil. I thought it was a tree.
The story can't make up its mind about that.
Void smirked in satisfaction. He seemed to be the wiener of the Alan. Yes, that means he seemed to be the winner of the I'll impress you the most verbal confrontation.
Well, lest you forget, they are actually kids.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent that my dad can beat your dad.
Yes, exactly. My dad works at Nintendo. I mean Sega. Yes, and we already have 2 more emeralds, beside the one I already own, thanks to his efforts.
His smiling face with the picture of victory.
Victory! Oh, and there's a certain pink someone who has a thing for him, in case you didn't know. What the heck is this, an episode of Friends?
Yeah, the audience just gasp.
No,
Tails.
really. What a shock.
Tails missed the last sentence. He was trying to sync the previous informations inside his head. Suddenly, it all made sense.
It does?
Well, good that it made sense to someone.
He still remembered, a little less than 2 months ago, after his fight against the shadowy hedgehog.
Oh boy.
He said something about the fact that he had made a choice. Something daring and revolutionary that would have changed the world. Was he talking about this? The kid sighed. Naugus had Shadow on his side. That would have been a very big problem. To put it euphemistically.
You could say it's going to be the ultimate problem!
Tails resumed his glance on his interlocutor.
Okay, this is Davar's favorite word in the English dictionary, and also Matty's favorite word, I remember, interlocutor.
Yes.
Interlocutor.
Yes, interlocutor.
That sounds like a name someone of us would have chosen if we had become part of the Borg collective.
Listen, it's a very, very obtuse word, a very obtuse synonym for person you're speaking to, but it's not an incorrect use of it, technically.
Yeah.
Thank heavens for small mercies, because that's all we are going to get.
This is a no mercy run, after all.
Okay, yeah, Marty, you have dialogue.
Tell me, Void, what did Naugus offer to convince Shadow to join him? And what did he promise to you anyway?
He asked, dead seriousness in his features. Now it was Void's turn to be taken aback. I mean, yeah, he's working for somebody who eats the scene.
Yes, but Void was not aware that the good guys knew about Ixis Naugus, because Cosmo literally told Tails in a dream.
Yes.
That happened!
Yes.
Okay. How do you know about my father?
His previous smile was now substituted with a panicked face.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because, Void, I am your father.
No, you're not my father. You're my daddy. Oh boy.
Father? That's how you call the one who's keeping your mother imprisoned?
The kid yelled in rage.
Insert joke about marriage here.
That sentence hit the Cedrian like a train. His facial features were now utterly contorted by the sudden shock his brain just received.
This sentence.
Tails saw this and immediately calmed himself. He took a deep breath and spoke again.
Yes, Void. Cosmo is alive. We all thought she died when she used chaos control on that nuke and teleported the both of them away from this world.
Yes, she's Goku.
This is a silly, silly franchise.
Except that Goku actually died when he teleported.
When you summarize the plot of the first story like that, you make it sound really stupid.
Instead, she ended up in the same place Nogus has been confined for so long. The sanctuary.
Na 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 na. Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't remember what the song is.
In the beginning of this chapter tells talk a lot about Cosmo like she was dead.
Okay, as it turns out, Cosmo is not dead. She is in suspended animation of some description, trapped into another dimension because of Nogus, and she talked to Tails in a dream, warning him about Nogus, and that's how they know that there is a Nogus to be worried about. But that's impossible. She couldn't have possibly come in that dimension. Nogus couldn't have bring her. There.
Trust me, if I try to nitpick every little thing in this, the proofreader in me would be having an aneurysm.
But you are already doing that, though.
I
Okay.
have.
You're lying! Okay, that's a sudden change.
Void's,
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Void's shocked expression was now replaced by a furious one. Tails crossed his arms and closed his eyes.
No,
Wait, removes the mask. Sonic! It was you all along!
no, it's true. She came to visit me in my dreams. She told me everything she knew about Nogus' scheme. And you.
Because, that seems very full of validity and solid, evidence. Dreams.
Hey, it's a post-apocalyptic fantasy future.
Yes, I know, I'm just messing.
Because chaos, I guess.
He reopened his eyes and once again fixed his gaze over the Cedrian boy.
She would have loved to meet you, her only son.
He concluded solemnly, desperately trying to hold back a few sorrowful tears.
True men
don't-
don't cry, true men don't cry, true men don't cry.
I don't like to say the term out of character much, but based on what this character has been up until to this point, this is the most out of character moment for Tails that I have ever written up to this point.
Void, on the other hand, wasn't even breathing. Oh wow, he's not alive, okay. But I guess he's dead. He stood like a statue, frozen on the spot. Then he started shaking and trembling like a leaf in the wind. That was a good pun.
Oh,
No, it was
God.
not.
That was almost a good analogy, but I have to ruin it by adding that right at the end of it.
I am crying on the inside.
Finally, he snapped. Like a twig. He pointed his right arm towards the vulpine and put the left one right on the red gem on his chest.
Chaos Spear.
He cried out loud.
He cried out
That would be an interesting loading screen for the next cutscene.
Well,
okay.
I guess that red gem was a load on his chest.
I have a very, very dirty joke in mind, but I will
No.
refrain from saying it because I'm sure you're all thinking about it right now.
I was not thinking it until you said something.
Now it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
Tails easily avoided the shot that hit the tree instead.
No, not the tree. It was the most interesting character.
No, the house was the most interesting character. I'm still caught up about that house.
The house died at the end of Chapter 2, Story 1. Get over yourself already.
But that tree was related to the house. The house was built from that tree's family.
I will kill as many trees as I want.
You
Then-
monster!
Then he darted toward his opponent at lightning speed, thanks to his propelled namesakes, and knocked the wind out of the panicked plant being's stomach with a punch.
One
Void. Void was taken by surprise. He didn't stand a chance. He collapsed on the ground, holding his painful belly.
So remember when I said a few minutes ago about that one trope about battle shonen, whereas the bad guy appears, beats up the good guy, leaves them alive, and then waits for them to come back to him stronger? Well, this happened already.
Yep.
And how much combat training did Tails actually go through during this, what was it, week?
1 week.
He just learned from experience, that's all.
The victorious Kit looked down at him. There wasn't satisfaction in his face, not even pride or a mischievous grin. Only utter soreness.
But you are the one who punched. You didn't get punched unless you are still feeling sore from the week ago.
He felt bad for Void,
He has
For
emotional wounds.
for what he had to go through. False ideals, false securities, false prophecies, and the fact that he's been forced to relive all of her mother's memories, doubts, and sufferance.
Wow, I anticipated the Steven universe by many years.
Looking down at his unwished adversary, Tails didn't feel pity. Sympathy, yes, but not pity. As a matter of fact, Void reminded the Kitsune a lot of himself. And not just because of the aforementioned cool shoes.
That's cool shoes. That sounds like a Disney Channel movie.
The Seedrian was clearly a selected one, just like Tails, and for that he suffered.
Yes, select player.
He's been put inside something that was bigger than him, and he's been forced to skip his childhood in order to fulfill his so-called life mission. They were so similar.
Do you feel bad for Void yet? Do you? Huh? Do you, punks?
Suddenly, the Kit felt the urge to hug him, but he decided against it. It would have been anticlimactic.
Okay,
Also-
now I don't know what context this conversation.
Also, it is the appropriate context, but it is not spelled correctly. I should point that out.
Insert here the clip about Sonic says where he tells you how being bad touched is no good.
Go ask your father if you don't believe me, and then try to read his soul. I know you can do it. You tried to do it with me for the whole time.
He casually added. Void slowly raised his head to look at the two-tailed vulpine above him.
So long, son.
With that said, Tails spun his famous appendages and rose in the air, flying away from there.
Live and learn.
Flying
Hanging on
away
the
with the
edge of
speed of
tomorrow.
sound.
Oh my
Black-
god, you actually remember those songs.
I remember him too.
Live and learn. Hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn. From the something
Works
something
of
of yesterday.
yesterday.
Now.
Anyway,
Okay.
the black-eyed boy was left alone, or so he thought. From the top of a secular tree, another figure appeared. A familiar lilac feline.
Big the cat, what are you doing here?
Okay, first of all, big is not lilac, so the joke doesn't even work in that context.
Hush you, close enough.
Blaze,
No, it's not! Don't you
Blaze-
know anything about colors?
Yes.
Blaze the cat immediately darted in Void's aid.
Here comes Void's support girl. Stay away from me, Blaze.
If
And
he
suddenly,
could,
this was the opera.
if he could, he would have yelled it.
Stay away from me.
She stopped right where she were, a few steps from him. Her face was showing a great deal of concern.
Okay, I see, pal. You waited patiently for a role in this disaster, so now you get to be Big the Cat. I mean, Blaze the Cat.
Yeah, you get to be the better version of Big the Cat.
Yes, the sexy version.
I was gonna say cool one.
Blaze the Cat, aka the only good character in Sonic 06.
Void!
She muttered.
How long have you been listening?
He asked after resuming his standing position. She lowered her head in shame.
I'm sorry. I was just worried about you.
You sound more like Amy Rose than Blaze the Cat, but okay.
Add
I
more
am-
huskiness.
I am not a baby, for chaos' sake. Wah! I'm the blasted Iblis trigger. Wah!
He managed to scream through the pain of his stomach. She sighed quite loudly. He and Tails were so similar.
Why am I getting shipped with this dork again? She's thinking.
Although now that she thought about it, she noticed the kid's sudden change of behavior. He seemed more mature and determined than ever.
Yes, he had all of that growth off screen, apparently, because I most certainly didn't write it.
Blaze was solely thinking, why can't I bang with him?
I'm going to edit that one out, the bar.
Okay, let me redo that. Blaze was thinking, why couldn't I be shipped with that boy? Very little was left of the kid she grew accustomed with, but it was still there, somewhere inside his heart. Open up his heart? It's gonna be alright? Eh? She just sensed it.
Blaze, hello, Earth to Blaze.
The juvenile voice interrupted her thoughts.
Huh?
What were you thinking, dirty thoughts?
Oh, nothing important. Tell me, do you think what Tails said was true? Do you believe she is still alive and all?
She asked him, not hiding her apprehensions and hopes.
I don't know, but I'm about to find out.
He declared, showing great determination in doing so. Blaze giggled within herself.
Yep, they are definitely similar.
She thought.
I can see why Tails called him his son. He was the one who planted the seed after all.
Metaphorically and literally, eh?
But not in the way you think. You dirty people.
This is so easily misconstrued. I love it.
Remember, kids, no one likes deadbeat dads.
Yes, use protection.
Also, no one likes when your dad is younger than you. Okay.
Okay, we have a change of paragraph, but it's a very, very short thing.
And it's mostly dialogues. Oh gosh! It is time, you guys! They are finally meeting each other for the first time in this story, guys! I'm sure some of you have been waiting for this their whole life. Oh my gosh.
Are any of those people here right now?
They are with us in spirit, I'm sure.
No wonder I'm not feeling anything.
Okay, I know what this dialogue is. Oh gosh, this dialogue.
Can I be Shadow again?
Yes, you can be Smoker Shadow like last time. Hey, am I cool or what?
Said a very cocky kobold hedgehog, right after breaking another sound barrier. Totally rad!
I've seen better. By me!
Oh!
Sonic the Hedgehog turned his head. I think Madhog just decided to go crazy.
I think he's running around. I think he's running around with the speed of sound.
Was it enough of a reaction or you wanted more of it?
Depends, how many brain cells do you still have left?
I think we're good.
Enough.
Sonic the Hedgehog turned his head to look at the stranger. He was a hedgehog, just like him, only black and red striped instead of blue. The two of them stared at each other for a while in silence. Silence that was suddenly broke by the usual obnoxious voice of the fake-skinned rodent.
No.
Fake-skinned.
Don't you remember the twist of part 2 in which it is revealed that Sonic was a robot all along?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's a thing.
That's a thing. Cool! I found my long-lost twin, Mondo Fantastico.
Shadow sighed. The end of chapter 1.
Gratuitous Italian.
Right, so this is actually chapter 1. What a way to start the very, very anticipated last part of this epic. I see my life flashing before my eyes. I made some dubious choices.
Incredibly so.
But you know what?
Does it look like a fast food ad?
No, but it looks like a pretentious attempt at remaking Psycho. No, wait a minute, that actually happened.
Oh boy.
Right, let's continue.
Alright, so chapter 2 is next.